Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as VRTrader.com. Welcome back to the show, Mark.
Glad to be back.
Mark, do we still have a special offer for our listeners?
Let's do it. 2021 half off. 2021 half off. If you go to VRTrader.com and come up on the home page, you'll see a whole bunch of different newsletters we offer. The Cannabis Letter, the Metal Resource Letter, our Platinum Letter, and our Trading Ace Letter, and Blockchain Letter for cryptos, all kinds of good stuff. So anyone or all of them, for any time frame you specify, if you enter 2021 half off, you get 50% off of the subscription. But again, thank you for mentioning it.
Mark, how hard is this computer chip shortage hitting the auto business? I'm being told that if I'm waiting for a Range Rover or a Jaguar, I'm out of luck for a while because they don't have enough computer chips. Apparently our cell phones are soaking them all up.
Well, you probably know as much about it as I do. I know that they're paying premium for used cars, and there are some shortages around. But for a while, it was affecting the semiconductor index. The thought being that the shortages would be good for prices, and like anything else, things go up for a while, and they may not stay up for a while. But this index has made new highs this past week, and it's coming off the high a little bit. That's ticker symbol SMH, which is the semiconductor index. So I would say it's held up as much as the market. Let's see if it turns down, if the market has a more of a correction here. But I would say overall, its relative strength is pretty high, and that shortage is real, and it's affecting positively the shares in that industry. So that's all I can really relate to, because I'm just looking at the charts on the darn thing. I mean, it's way up there. And, another thing to consider, though, is all the news is out about the shortages, and you think that's already priced into the index and to the individual semiconductor companies. So, I mean, for myself, I'm not a buyer here. I mean, it's already made a huge move. I mean, the semiconductor index, basically from last year has gone from 110 to 260. So it's, more than doubled. And, usually when the news is out, you can pretty much be assured that it's priced in already into the indexes and into the individual shares. So maybe after correction I might look at it, but I think it's already priced in.
Do you think someone would build a vehicle that doesn't need one nowadays? Like, hi, here's something that's really simple. It doesn't need a lot of computer chips. If there's a power failure, it's still going to work.
Well, you're smarter than me. I don't know anything about the technology there. How about a good old steam engine, huh?
Well, it just takes 3 days to get the boiler up to speed, that's all.
Yeah, well, so a solar-powered car would be nice, but they'd probably still need chips in there to operate. So, we got ourselves conditioned into the technology, and what else can I say? I'm just a stock market guy. I'm not an engineer, but sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, people now are so interconnected. Yesterday, down at my swimming pool, there's, a 18, 19-year-old girl in the hot tub who couldn't put her cell phone down. I mean, even for the, 15 minutes that she's in there.
Well, she didn't drop it in the water, I hope.
Well, who knows? Maybe she has a waterproof one. I don't know if a bag of rice would help much if you dropped it in the hot tub. But that's how, people, crossing the street can't take their eyes off the phone. And even though we have, $700 plus fines for using a cell phone when you're driving, if it's handheld, it's still not stopping people. I still see people on their cell phones. So we're addicted to the things. And I think the The chip makers know it, and they're going to totally exploit it like any other good entrepreneur would.
Well, I have to admit that I'm addicted myself because there's so much that happens on the phone. I mean, you can do your stock trades on the phone, monitor the stock market, and, exchange emails, business emails, as well as phone calls coming in. So, I've been on the road for the last several weeks, and, if I didn't have that phone with me, I couldn't be functional,
Yeah, all the science fiction shows missed out on how people would be addicted to their phone.
Well, the next thing we're going to get is the phones that beam us up to Scotty, right? So that's the next thing that's coming.
Well, you can already teleport individual lithium atoms, so how long before people? And I remember a TV show in the 80s saying that digital television would be impossible because of the amount of memory needed. Well, now, if it's not high-def digital television, you won't watch it.
And before that, remember the Dick Tracy watch with the phone on it? We thought that was coming so fast, and here we are. We have FaceTime and everything on our phones. Amazing.
But I'm still waiting for the flying car that was on the cover of Mechanics Illustrated in 1967.
I want one of those Jetson cars. What do you think?
Although somebody said driverless cars, I know people who wouldn't get in one. And I said, and yet you get on SkyTrain, which has been operating here in Vancouver, the rapid transit system since Expo 86, and that's driverless. And the benefit of not having a driver is it hasn't had any fatal accidents. It's run over people who have jumped in front of it, but the train comes to a stop faster than it would if it had a driver. And you don't have a driver who's been traumatized by somebody ending their lives by jumping in front of you. But the trains themselves, the only accidents they've had bumping into each other is when somebody's been driving it. The robots themselves have been perfect.
Well, do we have that same history? You seem to be up to speed on it more than me. I heard there were several fatalities with the driverless cars. Is that just...
Well, no, the driverless cars, now that's a different story. Driverless cars, people are overly reliant on the technology. Hilliard Macbeth, a friend of the show, he has a Tesla, and it has a lot of auto-driving features, and he says he's been booting around town, basically letting the car drive itself, but one day he's coming up to a red light, and it wasn't coming to a stop. He had to hit the brakes himself. You have to remember the sensors, it's not a perfect system. The company tries to remind you of that, but it works so well most of the time that people do relax, and you find them all across North America now, going to sleep in their cars while it's going down the freeway, and it's going, at 120 miles an hour all by itself. And at that speed, if something goes wrong, that they're just going to pick you up with a sponge.
Well, I haven't tried one yet, though I did see a couple at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, and the lines were so long to get in them that I didn't have a chance to try one out. But maybe in the future, maybe the next show in January, I'll get up there and get a ride in one.
The torque of an electric car is unbelievable. People are always worried about the performance, and they have distance anxiety, but the batteries are getting better. And again, with the Tesla, the computer screen will tell you what your battery status is and where the nearest charging station is. So you shouldn't be scared to take it anywhere. It tells you when you're nearly out and where the nearest place is. In Britain, one of the freeways that they're building there, they call them motorways, has a green lane that will automatically charge your electric car.
Fabulous.
I don't know what kind of electromagnetic field you're being subjected to and what that could lead in terms of health, but your car will be happy.
Right. 5G is less of a concern at that point, right?
Yeah. Faraday cage, I don't think is the right thing. You're part of the experience. Like the hydro repair guys that do the high tension lines, the power actually goes through them. And,
wow.
And one of them was telling me, he said, the sound in your head, it's like swarming bees. And I think he's also lost the ability to father a child.
Oh, no. Okay.
Well, when you've got hundreds of or thousands of volts coursing through your body, things are going to happen.
thanks for reminding me. I'm a little too old for any more kids, but I'll keep that in mind.
and I don't know if I'd be all that keen hanging 200 or 300 feet up in the air with a high tension line running through me. We'll have more with Mark Leibovit right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Mark Leibovit. Mark, what kind of shape is Bitcoin in?
Well, it still seems to be in a corrective phase, and I don't want to make any long-term predictions. We talked about this before. We had big moves up and down, and we somehow end up going back up again after the big down. So, but the chart says there's a potential that it could get down about $18,000-$19,000 a coin. That's a possibility. If it's going to happen, it could happen here in July. So let's see if it holds support and doesn't go down to those numbers. If it does, it'd be, I think, one heck of a trade. Just because when you get these big washouts or just like you get these big surges, you can go the opposite way and make some money. So I'm on the sidelines with GBTC, which is the ETF for Bitcoin, just watching here a little bit. We have traded it successfully in recent weeks for a point or two here, nothing major, and I have to admit I didn't play the big move up that I would like to have played in recent months, but there's too much going on in other markets. But it definitely surprised the bears, and there's a lot of bearish sentiment, regarding crypto and Bitcoin, which I sort of interpret bullishly, but I like to see the charts confirm. So I'm sort of neutral here, watching. Let's see what the cycles and other indicators play out here in the next couple 3 weeks, and if we get a washout, that would be better. But if it starts to bottom out here, and I see some upside action, we may jump in. I mean, there are those out there who, don't give up on it, who've been talking about huge numbers. I think you've mentioned a couple yourself, $500,000 to $1 million a coin is being cited around, and, that seems sort of unbelievable, but, very few would have predicted $60,000 for a Bitcoin when it was trading for $1, not too many years ago.
Sure. Didn't it start off at 25 cents?
Yeah, something like that, right? I heard people, or I read about people, I said not directly, who owned it at those kind of prices and sold it for very marginal profits, never imagining that it could ever go sky high as it did. But I'm partial to the crypto world. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I don't trust the government, and I don't trust the current currencies, and we've seen loss of value, and I don't know how safe your money is in the banks with the crazy government interventions and confiscation issues and all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on. So, the whole idea of those coins was to get outside the system and, give yourself some financial independence and maybe be outside of, government influence and hopefully monitoring. So, I think the trend for the world is toward this, and, despite all the negative comments how it's not going to last, I don't accept that. I mean, there's 7,000 coins out there right now. I can't imagine that the trend is so flimsy that it's just going to disappear overnight. I think not all those coins are going to exist, and whether Bitcoin stays or not, that's to be seen. But the future is here, and I encourage everybody to take a look at those markets. I mean, just for myself, I trade some of these little crypto coins. Just you can do it on your phone now. I mean, it's like 24/7. It's almost like Vegas overnight trading. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. You can buy some of these coins are a couple pennies, some are 30 cents, some some pretty famous ones too that are out there, like the Dogecoin, which has been laughingly referred to as the doggy coin that Elon Musk has been talking about and was talking about on that Saturday Night Live interview not too many weeks ago. A little coin like that, trades from under a penny up to 70 cents, comes down to 30 cents, goes up and down, and you got some big players that are sponsoring it or talking about it anyway, like Elon Musk, and these things are tradable. So, if you're in the markets and you like action, it's like an option that doesn't expire, or buying a penny stock. If you look at the charts and see the swings on them, and you have some, basic understanding of technical analysis, you can trade these things and make, 50% a day on some of these trades if you're a trader. So, I play around with it myself. We do talk about them in our blockchain newsletter, and it's whether you want to hold them for the big picture play or you want to trade them, they're certainly there. And like I say, you can just sign up to some of these services like Coinbase and others, which are basically platforms for executing trades in the various coins. And it's quite fascinating and exciting. And I have to admit, I have gotten up in the middle of the night a couple times and checked my phone and saw some extreme move in one of these coins and took advantage of it just on my phone. So you mentioned the phone a moment ago, but everybody holding their phone all the time. I guess I got caught in that scenario in the middle of the night a couple times, jumping into the Vegas routine.
Well, just as we're chatting, the coin square in my phone popped up. It's like I knew I was talking about cryptos.
Just now?
Yeah, just now.
Well, they say the phone tracks your voice and picks up what you're saying, and I've seen this happen to me too. I'll mention something, some subject, and suddenly I'll see it on my phone or an email. So there's some tracking going on out there. You have to watch out what you say.
Sure. The former promotions manager at CFMI Radio, Dusty Martell, asked me, how come every time I leave the room, Netflix asks me if I want to continue the movie after a few minutes? And I said, it's the camera in your TV set hasn't seen any movement for a while, and that's why it's inquiring. A lot of camera makes do have cameras in them. They don't tell you that.
Well, it's happened to me many times where something that I'm talking about or referring to pops up on my phone, including, stuff related to my pets and so forth. I've just seen some interesting things pop up. So we got to, we're being monitored, Jim. What can I tell you?
What do you think's going to go on with Crude over the summer?
Oh, God, over the summer. It's sort of broken the rules. It's got everybody confused because it went a lot higher than anybody thought it would. Just on a trading basis, it got extended here. You would think that with all the traveling going on, people more relaxed now with the COVID seemingly going away, though you have this Delta nonsense going on. But you would think that it would stay high and go higher, and we have a lot of geopolitical potential out there. We got a lot of stuff going on. There's Russian threats against the Great Britain for those ships, and you got Iran, a potential conflict there, whether it's with us or with Israel, and you got the China-Taiwan situation, and there's so many ways things could blow up in so many places. Plus, the green movement, shot themselves in the foot. What they do is they say, well, we don't need crude oil anymore. We're going to be all green, and we're going to take it away, and you're going to have to do without oil. So what did some of the big oil companies do, or investors? They say, well, gee, we don't want to invest in oil because these idiots are going to ban oil, and you won't be able to, use it anymore because they won't allow airplanes or ships or any gas-powered auto vehicles. It's going to be EV. So we're not going to invest in oil anymore. We're not going to why should we invest and start searching for more oil or digging for more oil if these, political idiots are going to start taking that away from everyone? So what does that do? Well, it creates potential shortages. And maybe that's what's starting to happen here. And, so my gut feeling, and I think I mentioned this before to you, is crude oil could go substantially higher in the months and years ahead. I mean, it could go well through that $140 a barrel record we saw back in 2007, and maybe even go substantially higher than that just because of the fear that it won't be around anymore, and productions may, drop off, and the incentive for producers may disappear, and there could be some real shortages in oil, and that's going to do a lot for prices. So, like I say, the green people may have just shot themselves in the foot in a lot of ways, because they're going to need oil to produce the alternate energy that they keep talking about, electric vehicles and solar panels and windmills and all the cool stuff. All need oil as components. To create many of the components for these alternate energy, enterprises. So that's going to drive prices higher. So I would say, I'm being long-winded here. My gut feeling's higher during the summer, and long-term, a lot higher.
Well, Joseph Schachter, friend of the show, with his energy report, points out maybe North America and Europe are pro-electric vehicle and are making big strides that way, but he said most of the emerging economies in Asia and Africa are still going to rely on oil, and they have the fastest growing populations. So he doesn't see the use of oil going away anytime soon.
Right. So this is a multi-generational conversation. And even if you find alternate energy sources, it could be nuclear. That's really been the greatest potential, to save the world, because it's infinite, and it's always, it doesn't have the same demands that crude oil and natural resources like that in terms of exploration and drilling and everything. But why not have a balance? You can have electric vehicles, you could have nuclear, you could have solar, you could have wind, you can geothermal, get it out of the geysers and volcanic action on the planet. Why do we have to get rid of anything? Even coal stocks are starting to uptick a little bit, because obviously coal hasn't disappeared, even though everybody thought it did. Why are some coal stocks like Peabody Energy going up? Coal, if you need energy and you can't get it, you're going to go to where you can get it. So, but the bottom line is there should be a balance. All of them should exist, and let the market determine what is the most efficient and the safest to use.
Well, coal is used for making high-quality steel because of the carbon in it. What is a suitable substitute right now? I'm sure they have ways of doing it, but is it cost-effective? And if you're going to build all of these solar farms and wind farms, you need a lot of steel. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You need the crude oil they want to get rid of, or the coal they want to get rid of, is a needed component for the dreams that they have to be fulfilled. So it's really paradoxical when you think about what's happening. And the bottom line is it's going to drive prices higher.
Mark, can you remind us again about the special offer?
Sure. It's at vrtrader.com. That's VR, Victor Robert, vrtrader.com, 2021 half off, just as it sounds. 2021 HALFOFF is our promo code, and you get 50% off. And please check in when you can. Thank you.
Thanks for the update, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks for yours too, Jim.
We've been talking with Mark Leibovit, editor and publisher of the Leibovit VR newsletters, also known as vrtrader.com. If you have any questions for Mark or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com, and we'll ask that question for you. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.